Hi, my name is Lady Shayo, and today we're going to look at 6 easy goal setting models. So let's get into it. And I'm going to start off this very short presentation with 2 quotes. And the first one is by Michelangelo, and he said, "The greater danger for most of us isn't that our aim is too high and miss it, but that it is too low and we reach it. So, you should reach high, for stars lie hidden in you. Dream deep, for every dream precedes the goal." Obviously, for you to have goals, you have dreams. And the goals that you set are strategies in which you're going to deploy to achieve those dreams. And don't, just as Michelangelo has said here, don't set goals that are too low that you can easily achieve. Yes, it's good to set realistic goals, but try to set them a little bit higher so that you push yourself. Try and get out of your comfort zone, give yourself a little bit of pressure, and achieve those great dreams and aspirations that you've got. So let's go into our discussion. I have here a quick agenda, and we can see it's a very short presentation and it's going to be very simple. These models that I'm going to discuss with us today are things that we can easily deploy and use them in our goal setting activities. So we're going to start off first by looking at what a goal is and how it differs from a strategy. And like I said, I'm making it very, very simple. Then we look at 3 models, and they are similar to one another: the core model, the WOOP model, and the door model. And if you've been reading my blog posts, you would have seen an article where I dealt with the WOOP and the door model. And then we'll go on to look at the growth model and the smart and smarter model, which I know many of us are already familiar with. So let's get into it. The question we want to ask ourselves here is, what is a goal? And how does it differ from a strategy? Simply put, a goal articulates an aspect of an organization's long-term vision. And here we can exchange the word organization with your personal vision or your team vision or a project vision. A goal provides a signpost for the business or the project or your personal life to look at, and it enables it to measure progress. So when you've got a goal, it enables you to measure progress. Have you been able to achieve this goal or not? Now let's look at that vis-a-vis strategy. A strategy, on the other hand, takes the goal and builds an action map of how the organization, project, person will achieve the goal. And it's a summary of the actions required, to bring it to pass. So we can simply say here that a goal is the what, while the strategy is the how. How do you want to achieve that goal? And we could look at a very simple example and say, I have a goal of writing a book by December 2023. That's the goal. What strategy would I then use to accomplish this goal? So I might have a strategy. The strategy I might put in place might be that once a week, I must dedicate 6 hours to writing or part of the book. So I could say every week I will spend 6 hours in writing my book. And in that 6 hours, I intend to at least complete 1 chapter. That could be the strategy I would deploy. So let's go on. Now we're going to move on to challenges of goal setting. You will agree with me that if you don't set the goals effectively from the onset, you are going to run into problems in executing and achieving your goals. So what are the things that could go wrong, or what are the things that we sometimes overlook when we set out to fix or to design the goals that we want? And one of the things that is a major challenge is clarity. We must make sure that the goals are clear, both for you as an individual or your organization or your team, the people who are going to work on the project with you to help you accomplish what you set out to do in the first place. Let's look at a quick example. I want to lose weight in 2023. Now, that is the goal, lose weight. But it's not very clear. The people working with me they have a big, hairy, audacious goal: lose weight. But how much weight are we talking about? What time frame do we have to lose this weight? And what would be the end result? These are questions that your team members would want to ask, because if they don't have clarity, they're not going to be able to design a strategy to help you achieve this goal. Now, let's rephrase that and say, I want to lose 10 kilograms of weight within 6 months and become a size 10. Now we've put in a little bit of flesh and it's a lot clearer. The team can now understand that, okay, we've got a time frame, we've got an exact amount of weight that is required to be lost, and we've got an end product. We want to be a size 10. That now will feed into the strategy that they will design to achieve the goal. So always remember that you must have very clear goals, especially when you're working with a team. The second thing that we want to look at is not, the target. Don't keep changing the target. Have a target for a period of time. Don't keep changing the goalpost. I've had experiences where I'm working with a client as a consultant, and we have agreed on a time frame. We've agreed on the output, that we've agreed on the deliverables. So all our goals and objectives are clearly stated. And then halfway into the project, the client comes and shifts the goalpost. Now, shifting the targets can be quite counterproductive, especially where the direction is completely off the original course. It means that your entire strategy also has to change. Time has been wasted. Resources have been wasted in doing something else. Now, let's get something clear. Sometimes, yes, you will have to completely change course if you realize that you're going in a wrong direction. However, it shouldn't be something that you do frequently or do lightly. So it's important that you have a clear target, be very sure of the direction in which you want to go. And if you must change direction or change your target, be sure that it's absolutely necessary. And you know that the resources that you have wasted, yes, there might be a waste, but you have understood better where you want to go and what you want to achieve. Another reason why you might want to or have to change target is where events unfold. You have events unfold and you now see current realities that are impacting into your vision or your dream or your goal. Yes, you might have to redirect and take the hit, know that the resources are lost. However, you will achieve the desired outcome at the end of the process. So keep this in mind when you set your targets. What else can go wrong, or what else should we put into consideration? Not setting realistic time frames. That's another one. Underestimating the time frame. You've told your team that you want to lose weight in 6 months. That's probably a realistic time frame. Now imagine if you told your team that you want to lose 10 kilograms of weight in 2 weeks. That is a very, very unrealistic time frame. It might be possible, but it could have very, very negative consequences. You might not be very healthy if you go on a crash diet for 2 weeks in order to lose 10 kilograms. You could actually hurt yourself pretty badly if you try to do that. If you try to exercise, maybe do 5 hours of cardio aerobics or cardio exercises, it might be effective, but it might not be very healthy. You could injure yourself. So having an unrealistic time frame can also impact on your ability to effectively achieve your goal. Now, mark my words, I said effectively. So in the example I gave, you actually might be able to lose 10 kg of weight in 2 weeks, but how effective would that be? You do so at the detriment of your health, and definitely it's not going to be sustainable. You probably land up in the hospital. And like I said, it's not going to be sustainable. How do you keep that weight off when you've lost so much in such a short period of time? Your body will be fighting to gain it back. So how sustainable would it be? I'll give another example. You've asked some property developers to come in and renovate your home, and they've given you a time frame of 6 weeks for what you want to, for what the kind of work you want done. And you are insisting that they do it in 2 weeks. You and I know what's going to happen. They might meet up with your 2-week deadline, but at what cost? It's going to probably be a very substandard and shoddy job, which would result in you probably having to redo the whole work all over again when things start to fall apart. So in your goal setting activities, please set realistic, you can set ambitious but realistic time frames. Now, what else do we need to talk about? We should also remember that another thing that could affect our goal setting is not appreciating our failures. Failure is unpleasant, but it is good. So don't see failure as the end of the road. See it as a learning process. What have you learned from the failure? What do you need to adjust? What do you need to correct? If you do fail, accept it, dust yourself, and get back up there and go again. You will eventually succeed if you keep at it. And the next thing is sub goals. Having too many sub goals, trying to do too many things at the same time. It's good to have, ambitious goals, but don't try to do too many things at the same time. It can be counterproductive. We call it multitasking, but the truth is that sometimes we end up, it leads to burnout. So while it's good to be up and doing, to be ambitious, to be a goal getter and all of that, try and complete your goals one at a time, especially if you don't have the resources to attack all the goals at the same time. So if it's a personal goal, for example, I advise try to face your personal goals one at a time. If you're talking about organizational goals, yes, you've got the resources. You can divide your company into teams, different people working on different projects at the same time. That makes sense. But if it's a personal goal, try and finish one project at a time, because doing too many things at the same time can be counterproductive. And finally, the last point here is consistency, which I don't have on the slide. But when you are planning your strategy to achieve your goals, always remember that you need to be consistent. So slow and steady will always win the race. Long-term consistency will always trump short-term intensity. Remember that. Success can be defined as the ability to be consistent. If you are consistent at doing something over and over again, you will definitely make progress. It might not be as fast as you want it to be, but you will make progress and you will succeed. The good thing about consistency is that it helps you in long-term sustainability. You will be able to sustain the success, for a longer period of time. When you try to do things quickly, yes, you might get some quick wins and quick results, but it's not sustainable. Now let's go back to our example of losing weight. I said lose 10 kg in 6 months. Now that's practical. That's a realistic goal. If you do 30 minutes exercise every day, 5 days a week for 6 months, you will lose weight. Trust me. You will definitely lose weight. You might not lose the entire 10 kg, true, but you will lose weight and you will have made progress and it will be sustainable. That weight that you lost will probably stay off if you stay consistent with your 30 minutes exercise every day, or at least 5 days a week. Worst case, 3 days a week. Now, imagine if you now did a crash program in 2 weeks, and so you went on a crash diet and you were doing 5 hours of exercise every day. Trust me, by the end of 2 weeks, you would be burnt out. You probably you'd have probably done yourself an injury, and you will not be able to sustain that high level of exercise for a long period of time. It will be detrimental to your health. So you might have lost a couple of kg in that short time, but how do you keep it off? Because you can't sustain that level of exercise within that short period of time. In fact, your body will be aching and hurting all over. So it's not sustainable long term. And what would probably happen is that you would add the weights back on, which you don't want. So remember, consistency is key. Be consistent. Now, let's take a look at our first model, the core model. And what does core stand for? The C there stands for having a crystal clear picture of the future. The core model is very effective and it's very easy to use. So you can apply it to your individual goals and also to your organizational project goals. So the C, get a crystal clear picture of the future. Remember, I said in the last slide that your targets must be clear. It must be clear to you and every member of the team. Everyone needs to know exactly what you are all working towards. There shouldn't be any room for assumptions. So you need to have an open channel for communication so people can ask questions and everyone can be clear so that you're all working towards the same output. What does the O stand for? O stands for what your current operational realities are. Now, in order for you to determine those current operational realities, you might want to do a SWOT analysis, look at your strengths, your weaknesses, what opportunities are available, what resources do you have that you can deploy to accomplish the goal. What are the threats? What's competition doing? What are the things that are hindering you or stopping you from achieving the goal? So have a clear analysis of your operational realities. And then we go on to look at what the requirements. What do we need to accomplish the goal? In the example I gave about losing weight, what will be required for us to lose weight? Do we need exercise equipment, for example? Do we need diets or recipes for healthy foods? What are the requirements that you need to help you in accomplishing the goal? What assets, what resources? Do you need staff? Do you need space? What do you need what do you need to accomplish the goal that you've set? And finally, what execution plan do you want to put in place? So you've understood your operational realities, you've understood the requirements that will get you from point A to point B. Now, what's the execution plan that will get you there? So looking at the example of losing weight, what's going to be our execution plan? So we might say we are going to sign up for a gym and do 3 days of exercise at the gym, and the other 2 days we'll do light exercise in the house for 5 days a week. We will do monthly reconciliations to see how far our progress has gone. We will change our diets. Maybe you're going to sign up for, there are so many health apps and health websites where you can get very healthy recipes for healthy foods. What will be your execution plan? So all of these things will come together to help us do what? Achieve the goal of losing weight. Now we go to the next model, which is the WOOP model. And this is very similar to the core model. Again, WOOP can be used for your personal goals, organizational goals, for a project. And the acronyms, mean very similar things. So we'll start with W, which simply means what do you wish for or what do you want, which we can compare to having a crystal clear picture of the future. So what do you wish for? What do you want? And we move on to what is your desired outcome. So in the example that we gave about losing weight, what we wish for is that we wish we can lose weight. That's the wish. And what will be our desired outcome? Our desired outcome is that we are a size 10, because right now we are a size 24. So our desired outcome is that we move to a size 10. What then will be the obstacles from preventing us from achieving the size 10? So the obstacle could be we like eating chicken and chips and lots of fried foods and ice cream and cookies. Those are the obstacles that are preventing us from losing weight. And then we go on to what's the plan that we need to put in place to remove the obstacles and help us move from size 24 to size 10. So what plan do we have in place? Our plan could be step 1, go into our fridge and our cupboard and remove all the cookies, give them out, remove all the chicken and chips, give them out, stop ordering pizza as nice as it might be. That could be our stage 1 plan. Stage 2 plan would be, how do we incorporate an exercise regime? Do we want to do exercise in the house? Do we want to sign up with a gym to do exercise? We might say, let's go to the gym where we will have other people that will encourage us to exercise. It won't be us doing it in isolation. So we could sign up with the local gym and do exercise 2 nights a week or 3 nights a week. What plan would you put in place to help you achieve your end goal. And the third model we'd like to talk about now is the door model. Again, follows the same principle as the previous two models that I've talked about. We can apply it to anything we want to apply it to. So what does DOOR stand for? Very simple and very similar. The D there is desire. What do you desire? We desire to lose weight. And what will then be the outcome of our desire? We will become a size 10. We move on, and what will be our obstacles? And finally, what's the roadmap we are going to use to overcome the obstacles? So we can see that all these three models are very similar, just interchange of the various acronyms, but they're basically saying the same thing. Determine first and foremost what it is exactly that you want to accomplish. What is your desired outcome? What are the obstacles, and what's the roadmap? So let's move on to the next model now. The growth model. Now, this is slightly different from the first three that we've seen. Slightly different model, and this is a model that some coaches use, when they're coaching their clients, how to move the client from where they are to the desired state that they want to be. But we can also use it to set our goals and also follow through with those goals. So what does the G stand for? This G is actually the goal. What do you want to achieve? What's the end point? And in our example of losing weight, our end point is simply we want to lose weight and we want to become a size 10. So what's our current reality? Our current reality is that we are a size 24 and we want to lose this weight. We've been told by the doctor that if we continue in this trajectory, our weight is going to become a hazard to our health. They have told us that you've got high blood pressure, you have high cholesterol levels, you are at risk of having a heart attack or a stroke. And all of that is really bad news. So we want to lose weight and correct all of that. So what options do we have? What are the options that we have? In what lines of action can we take? So we could start with changing our diet. That could be an option. If we can't exercise, okay, I can't jump up and down, I would rather change my diet. I could go for surgery. There are various surgeries that will help us lose weight. That could be an option. I'll now think about the cost implications of that option. I could also do bypass surgery. Yes, I could go for liposuction, or I could do bypass surgery. Those are two different types of surgical options that I could look at. I could also look at the option of exercising, and then again, if you're looking at exercising, we can look at aerobics kind of exercising, or maybe I can't do aerobics, let me jog. If I can't jog, can I walk long distances? There are different options. So you look at all the options available that you might deploy in achieving your goal. So when we've looked at the options, we will now look at the will. What exactly will we do? What's the way that we want to go? So we've looked at the options of surgery, of exercise, of changing the diet. Those are different options. Out of all of these options, which one are we actually going to go for? So we might decide that, surgery, we're not doing that. It's too expensive and it's too risky. Instead, let's do exercise. And we might say, okay, we're not going to do aerobics because that's too strenuous. Let's just go for 1 hour walks and cover about 5 miles a day. We will still achieve our aim in getting enough exercise that will help us lose weight. And we might say that, okay, in addition to that, we would also change our diet. And we move on. So the tactics that you're going to deploy. So how are we going to, so we've said we're going to go for long walks. So what tactic will we apply to enable us really do this long walking? So you might say, in order for us to enjoy the walk and to inspire us into walking, we might play music along the way, get a good set of earphones and good music that will ginger us up to go for walking. And if you listen to faster music, that will make you walk faster so that you can walk to the beat. That could be one of your tactics. How about your diet? We've said we're going to change our diet. What tactic are we going to deploy to prevent us from eating cookies and ice cream? What tactics are we going to deploy? So one of the tactics could be make sure that you don't even buy any of those things that would tempt us to eat, if they're not in the house, even if you're craving for them, you can't eat them because you don't have them. Another tactic would be that when we go to the supermarket, we do not walk past the aisle where there are cookies and ice cream. Jump the aisle, just face front, just go straight forward, do not pass the aisle, because when you pass the aisle, there's a temptation that you pick something that you're not supposed to pick. I remember watching a comedy on Instagram, where the comedian said one of the tactics that you could use to lose weight is by turning your head. First of all, he said turn your head to the left, and then turn it to the right, and then turn it back again to the left, and now increase the speed, turning it left to right, left to right. And I remember I was confused and said, how would this stop you from losing weight? And then he went on to say that whenever people offer you things like ice cream and chocolates and cookies, deploy that tactic of turning your head from left to right, meaning what? Just say no, you're not going to eat it. So that could be one of the tactics that you want to deploy to help you lose weight. And then finally, let's go on and say, what habits? Now we've lost weight. If we apply all of these tactics, we will lose weight. What habits will we now what habits will we adopt to keep the weight off? So we might adopt the habit of maintaining our long walks. So we've lost the weight, but we now make walking a habit. That could be something that we put in place. And that's why I said consistency is very important here. If you have been going on long walks over a long period of time, it will become a habit. You will find out the day you don't go for a walk, you're not going to feel very comfortable, because you would want to go for that walk because it's become a habit. So one of the habits could be, yes, we will continue our long walks, and we will also maintain the good eating habits, not eating too many chocolates and cookies and ice cream. So if we develop those habits, we will obviously keep the weight off. So that's all about the growth model. Let's go on to look at the SMART model. Now, we're all familiar with the SMART model. I'm sure we all know this model, so I'm not going to waste time on it. So basically, we're talking about goals have to be what? Specific, they have to be measurable, they have to be achievable, they have to be realistic, and they must be time bound. And when we look at our example, we said our goal is very specific. We want to be a size 10 within 6 months, and it's measurable. We've given it a time frame, and we can measure, we can weigh ourselves and see how much progress we've made. We are looking at a 10-kilogram drop in weight, so we can actually measure that, and we can also look at the time frame to measure how effective the entire activity is. Is it achievable? Obviously, losing 10 kg in 6 months, I think it is achievable. I've lost 10 kg before in 3 months, and I didn't overly strain myself to do it. So yes, I think losing 10 kilograms in 6 months is actually achievable. Is it realistic? Very realistic. If you if you have a healthy diet and get enough exercise, you should be able to lose 10 kilograms of weight within 6 months. And finally, we set a time frame of 6 months, so it's time bound. Now we move to the smarter model. And what has happened here? It's still the SMART model, but just with two extra points added on: evaluate, review, and readjust. So what do we evaluate? Not just the goal itself or your ability to achieve the goal, but also evaluate the entire goal setting process, from when you set the goal to when you achieved it. What did you do right? What didn't you do so right? And what adjustments needs to be made? And that's where the review and readjust comes in. So adjust it. What do you need to change? Do you need to change the process? Maybe the process wasn't very good. What went well? What didn't go so well? Make those adjustments. So that is the smarter model. So finally, ladies and gentlemen, this is a summary of everything we've talked about today. We've looked at what the difference between a goal and a strategy. We've looked at the core model, the WOOP and the DOOR model, and like I said, they're pretty similar to one another. We looked at the growth model and the SMART and the smarter model. So I do hope with all of this, we can easily set our goals. You can design an Excel sheet, and then you can have what the goal is, what your current realities are, what are your requirements, and then what is your execution plan You can just have it in a tabulated format and then a column for each goal, and then put all the details in there, and then follow through on a monthly basis. Do a monthly review. How far have you gone? Have you been able to achieve them? What are the setbacks? What are the problems? Do you need to realign? Put everything down. One thing I have learned is that if you don't write them down, you're not going to accomplish them. Because, and when you write them down, don't just write them down. Write them down and look at them every day. The Bible says that you should write the vision and make it plain, so that he that readeth may run. So write your visions down, write your goals down, look at them every day. What you can do, you could design a vision board, or you could put sticky notes on your mirror or on your wardrobe, wherever you can see them. Just, something to remind you about your goal, and that you need to do something about it on a daily basis. Remember, I said it is important that you are consistent. So write the goal down. Put it in a place where you can see it. I have a goal to write a book. I have a goal to lose weight. I have a goal to go back to school. Whatever the goal is, write them down. And the same thing goes for your organization. Your organizational goals, put them in your meeting room, put them on your notice board so that people can see them and work towards them on a daily basis. That is it about goals. And I do hope with these few modules, you'll be able to pick one of them that is most suitable to you and implement them. And I do know that it will help you in accomplishing your goals. So finally, let's go back to our quotes. And I did say that the greater danger for most of us isn't that our aim is too high and we miss it, but that it is too low and we reach it. So do what? Reach high, for stars lie hidden in you. Every one of us has a star lying hidden in us. You need to bring that star out. Dream big, for every dream precedes the goal. So ladies and gentlemen, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please following me. Please follow me on my social media channels. Meet me up on Instagram, especially LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn is my major channel. Take time to watch some of my other videos on YouTube. Feel free to share the content. You can also visit my store. I've got a few courses that are free and also some paid courses. And watch out for my upcoming book as well. So that's it from me. I do hope this has been helpful. Please drop me a comment in the comment section, and remember to click on the bell so that you will get an alert anytime I drop a new video. So thank you so much for watching, and I will meet you again next time.